my heart feels so good.
Today, I have the pleasure to welcome in the studio Jerome Wittamer. Thank you very much for taking the time.
Thank you, Jerome. Pleasure to be here.
Jerome is working at Expon Capital, who is a very important component in the startup and fintech ecosystem in Luxembourg. So let's jump right into it. Is Luxembourg a startup nation?
Oh my God, what a question. So, well, let me ask you first another question, which is, is that even a relevant question? Do our political representatives actually care about startups, and should they care about these startups?
If you look at the past, for example, we had some good stories like with Skype in 2003 and after. Was this beneficial to the economy?
This was tremendously beneficial to the economy. What happened in the post-Skype, let's say, exit era, when they were sold to eBay, relatively quickly, after 3-4 years, the tax receipts were exceeding 1 billion a year. That was 10% of the budget of Luxembourg.
Well, that's incredible. But can you compare Luxembourg with other countries where you could say there are startup nations?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's the first country that comes to mind, of course, is Israel. But let's take maybe another one, which is a little bit closer to home here in Europe, and that's Estonia. So Estonia is a country of roughly 1.3 million people. That's roughly twice the size of the country of Luxembourg. And in the last 10 years, they've managed to create 3 unicorns, TransferWise, hugely amazing fintech worth 8 billion, Bolt in the food delivery and transportation system, 8 billion as well, maybe half of that now after the decrease. Pipedrive, also valued roughly 1.5, Skeleton Technologies in the energy battery sector. So, yeah, I mean, clearly you can see that a company that has managed to embrace the startup nation concept extensively throughout the fabric of society, and so that means actually from the top, at the level of governments, throughout the education system, the health system as well, and then that pervades throughout the whole economy, to digitize all of these components and to make it the most modern economy in Europe. This has paid dividends to the population. In the last 20 years, you have to realize that the real GDP growth of Estonia compared to Luxembourg has been superior in almost each year, except maybe 3, in that 20-year period. Incredible. So I think it proves that, adopting the startup nation mindset is critical for the competitiveness of a country.
Yeah, and we have the general election approaching very fast. And of course, the big topic is, where is the Luxembourgish economy going? Basically, is there a plan B? And I hope the politicians will answer that. But let's look at the last 10 years. What has been done to make life easier for startups and fintechs?
So I think a lot has been done already. We shouldn't be complacent, of course, and more can always be done. But you have to start walking before you run. So we sorely lacked in terms of the breadth and depth of education and research in the country. It was compartmentalized with the different centres de recherche. Now I think we have something that's really solid and robust. We didn't have any incubation. We have incubation. We didn't have any acceleration. We have now acceleration. So the names. Fit for Start really is a critical element, critical component of this policy. Hugely successful. A lot of startups are coming out much stronger out of this acceleration system. The clusters that have been put in place are highly promising, such as space, of course, but also personalized medicine, which is coming back with a vengeance after almost 15 years of a false start, now really coming to the fore. And of course, the Ministry of Economy created the Digital Tech Fund. I have to talk about that because before that, there was no venture fund dedicated to supporting the local ecosystem. Can you imagine? So also a critical component that was missing.
It's like a big puzzle. We do have many pieces in place. We improved many of them, but it's really going to work when we have all of them.
Yes.
And I think one important thing, I did interview Avishai Avrahami, the CEO from Wix, who was founded by Mangrove out of Luxembourg 15 years ago. And when I met him, he is a hero in Israel. I think everybody's dreaming to become like him. And of course, that drives a lot of energy. We do have heroes arriving now in Luxembourg. I think Salon Key is on the good way. Next Gate Tech also. So it's a very interesting time. Now, what do we need to do in the coming years to compete with other jurisdictions like France or Belgium who are improving very fast and who are building unicorns quite fast at the moment?
So I think the first thing that comes to mind is really celebrate entrepreneurship throughout society, pursue our efforts in schools, such as what with GEL, the Young Entrepreneur, let's say where she's doing with the Ministry of Education. Also continue that later throughout higher education, create this community between the researcher and the business community, which is lacking today. I think this is the only solution in order, if we want to create successful spin-outs of the university, create the right incentives so that people don't steer their savings only through real estate, but also through things like the Little Tech Fund and others, which are supporting the local ecosystem and allowing it to pursue its mission beyond the seed stage, which it is doing today. Of course, one thing that some people might not realize, but we do need also a more vibrant restaurant ecosystem, and so affordable rent for small restaurants, tiny snacks, to attract culinary talent from around the world. That is the glue around which these young talents are gathering and from around the world, and that makes Luxembourg a little bit more sexy. We need more engineering, coding schools. We need tax incentives also to attract talent from outside, but also retain talent in the form of stock option systems. We have the worst in Europe, or one of the worst in Europe. And of course, maybe the last one, allow people to fail and start again, something which is always been an issue here in Luxembourg, but it is critical to celebrate entrepreneurship in all of its forms, which is also allowing people to fail and to start again.
Very good. So I remember the importance of restaurant. There's one very good one at the office. I don't know if you tried it. Local, I think is the name.
Not yet.
Where you do have a lot of people. It's Rue Grande Duchesse Charlotte, and I confirm this is attracting a lot of people. There's a lot going on there. And basically what I heard from you is there's a long way to go. We need a very dynamic government. So we need a strong political campaign in the coming months so that the new government will have his hands free to do all the things that need to be done now to keep Luxembourg competitive in the future. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you, Jerome. Thank you.
This love that reaches to my heart.